All right, here we are live, guys. Appreciate y'all for coming by and hanging out here on the show, the Dive College Football Show. Now, I had some notes and stuff to go through with Coach Golish at Auburn, and him talking about his players and having practice and stuff today, and some positive things that he felt like he could take away from what he had saw. So, first off, he was asked right off about where they were at and the weekend stuff they were going to have off, and he told about those days they're going to be off. I think some teams are going to be off. This coming weekend. Okay, so one of the first things he said, which is good, he said that they tackle better. That's good. That we can always start off on that. Now, he was very impressed. He said he brought up the names Dallas Walker for defense, Womack, Winters, and he was glad to have New Boy back on the scene. Those are, part of the defense that he's trying to, not just build confidence with the guys he has, but he's trying to, build up depth. And he's going to get to that. And we'll break in Coach Womack too and talk about him. Coach Womack, same thing, guys. Whoever your favorite college football team is, everybody has a thing with depth. It's just kind of where we're at right now with college football. So he brought up Rayshon Pleasant and said that he was better. Rayshon has been a big problem in pass interference calls. He holds a lot. A lot of the times he's holding, and that's a problem. You get on third down stop for a team, and it put them in some bad spots last year. It really, really did. So that's kind of where he was at. And so, we'll kind of continue on the way here. Talk about his front defensive line, and there was a play they had down at the 1 yard line, and this is where he got into, not just the four he has, but the next four. And that's things part of this college football game where we're looking for depth to build a championship style team. So he brought up the 1 yard play and said that he thought they handled it well. They had the checks with him and stuff that they got in and out of correctly. So, those are good things. Now, next he kind of got on a guy pretty good, and that's okay. That's what coaches do. And Mr. Jared Smith needs to be coachable in these moments, and I'm sure that he is. Coach Golish wants him to pay more attention on his pass rushing keys and doing those things instead of being erratic. And his quote was, I had to yell at him more today. And the media kind of laughed and that kind of stuff. So it's not a big deal. It's just coaching 101 type stuff. Now, lastly, and then we'll get on. Then we'll get over here to talk about what he talked about probably the most. And mostly he talked about toughness, which, brings focus, which also a lot of, being very focused on what you're trying to do. And to try to focus some 18 to 21-year-olds, on football, that's a tough thing to do right now, at the moment. So togetherness, he talked about focus a lot. I double-checked on that. And, this is my side note for that, and that's why you're over here, to get my take on some of this. What do you want to do? That's kind of where I take from Coach Golish. Like, what do you want to do? What's your goals? What have you set for yourself? Not just, long term. Well, I want to go to college and get a degree. What do you want to do today? What are you trying to get better at? You want to be a better teammate, trying to be a better person. We'd like for you to do both. So that's kind of my takeaway from what he had to say. And next, we'll get in here to Coach Womack. So thank you all for coming by again and hanging out with me here for just a few minutes. We're just going to go through this, just dropping some news and stuff for you guys about Bama and Auburn, some things coaches had to say. And, there's bad stuff to say, and some places don't report on that, to say when a coach calls practice sloppy, they don't tackle well, there's too many penalties, they can't get lined up right. And you have a lot of media places that just kind of paint right over that and don't even mention it. You have to. if you're being meaty and you're being honest, you got to report it. You don't have to stick on it like and sail the team down the river, because there is good parts, but you have to give the good and the bad. That's what we call reporting. So moving on, Bama defense, and Coach Womack yesterday, he spoke to the media some, and he was asking about Griffin, and he said that he was, definitely part of what he's trying to do out there. And again, that word depth, looking to make sure that he can contribute and he can be, a part of that depth to continue to add to this defense, because he talks about something really important here in just a second, that some type of, what they've been missing on to be able to do at practice, he's going to talk about. But he bragged on Luke Metz, Sanders, and QB Reese. And you can find all the, stuff about QB Reese, Jimmy, and Luke over there on Locked on Bama. They talk about him some. And everybody really go find them for Alabama coverage. And then Locked on Auburn, you get Zach to go through some of this other stuff. And they'll have their own opinions and other takes about this stuff. And this is just me. I'm just pointing out things that I saw from – from my perspective, their practice and what they were saying, and kind of how I take it from my idea of being around it a lot more than a lot of people that report on this stuff. Now, next he was talking about rotations. Now, auxiliary positions and stuff for Coach Womack there at Bama seems like it has not been, the best of things as of, the first year he was there. Definitely was kind of tough. Had a lot of guys hit the portal, and he was trying to build something new, build something up from scratch. But these auxiliary positions are definitely something that's, been important to him, trying to work on. And he's talked about it now to where these guys are coming in rotations and they're working people in and out. And I thought he did a great job last year of working these young guys into the rotations, like Zay Brown. I mean, these guys make, big picks against big teams in big-time moments, to win games. So that rotation has been good. Now, third question, he's asked about the same thing, defensive line rotation, and he brought up depth. Same thing you heard from Coach Golish over there. Like, I got my four, but where's my next four? Coach Golish said it, if we got my five and we're looking for the best five, but I need the next five. Coach Womack saying the same thing here. College football is what it is right now, what we're dealing with. And in the portal era, when guys can just up and move away to Purdue, and I'm just going to go over here and play now, it's different. So not just your best five up front, but to have the next five. And last, this is what we just mentioned, I told you hang around for. He said that he's been in place some base technique in his defense this year. And that's not something he's really been able to do as of late. So that's a big thing for a coach to be able to work into those kind of perspectives of what you're doing and where you're trying to get the program, and to have a good practice. Because I know, like personally, you watch these small schools, high school, they may have to set garbage cans out there. It's hard to get better going against garbage cans. I'm not saying colleges do that, but you know what I mean. You want to have good on good, and you want to have good guys to come in and rotate for your starting 4 or 5. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at, and I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it. Just want to break it down and give you my thoughts on it and kind of what I thought. Overall, seemed like it's been pretty good for practice lately. Injury reports, like I said, knee boy for Auburn. I don't think they've really got, anybody out that's not, been out, but just nagging stuff. I think everybody's pretty cool right now. Wednesday, so tomorrow, Thursday, I know Bama's having a big scrimmage tomorrow, so we'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about them and break down the scrimmage and see if Alabama's going to name a starting quarterback. What are your thoughts on that? Hit the comments down there. Like the video. Sure would appreciate it. Tell me what you're thinking. All right. Appreciate you. Thanks.